Yeah, as I said, 26 degrees. Oh. Okay, so I cut it a little bit shorter today to 2 minutes because of how cold I was before I even got in the water. And I didn't want to push it to the point where I might go into shock. But because I did cut it short, I had myself do those head dunks. And right now, last time I checked, the weather is 26 degrees out. So this walk back to my car is really, really freaking cold. And the reason why I'm moving so slowly right now is because I can't feel my feet at all. So I mentioned beforehand that when I went in the water that my feet were numb. So they are iced right now. And I am just slowly moving myself back to the car to get warm. I mean, before I came out here today, I was sitting in the car, I'm like, oh, I didn't watch any Wim Hof breathing techniques. So I know Yes Theory did a video on it, so I was gonna watch theirs, but I was like, man, I'm just sitting here. This totally counts as procrastination, and what I was talking about yesterday of doing research in order to extend the period that you actually get into the water. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go jump into the water and I can watch the YouTube video when I warm up in the car. Oh, I'm feeling standing back to my feet. Let's if you could see my full body right now, the walk I'm doing looks like the Atlas robot from Boston Dynamics with a bunch of flat-footed, choppy steps, because I can't really extend any of my muscles far enough. Oh my god, it's so freaking cold right now. Dry. They're numb. I cannot feel them. It's just trying to bend my toes right now. There's all the motion I can get into them. Yeah, as I said, 26 degrees. Chest down low so you guys can hear me. So yesterday I did some post research once I get back, and guy's name I was talking about is Andrew Huberman, I want to say, something Huberman, the Stanford professor. And he said to allow yourself to shiver because the act of shivering releases some chemical that helps convert your white fat cells into rat fat cells, which helps with increasing your metabolism, because brown fat is actually able to heat you up and burn calories versus white fat, which is just storage. Because I need to drink this. Alright, so I now got it to the point where I can move and move my feet. I could move my body beforehand, but I can now move my feet enough to where it's safe for me to drive back to my apartment. Oh, this is cold. As I mentioned in the previous days, you feel the cold leaving your body, and it gives you the sensation of like this cool warmth spreading through you. I don't have that feeling in my feet yet. They're still, at least the toes are numb, but the rest of my foot is able to move. I mean, I have the heat cranked to the highest setting in my car, the vents slightly turned down so you guys can hear me, and my seat warmer all the way up. My car is probably running at like 100 right now, but it feels really cold. But if you are doing this, warm up with air. If you warm up with water that is at all hot, you will cause nerve damage. And man, you don't want that. You really don't want it. I had it, as I mentioned, day 1 or so, I think. Your toes swell up. Well, I had it on my feet because I put them in warm water a couple years ago. The toes swell up, were so sensitive and painful, and they itched. It was this itch that you just want to like scratch with the razor blade all the way down to the bone and just rip apart your feet. Like, you kind of want to make yourself a back scratcher by taking a bunch of nails and sinking them into a piece of wood and then using the nails to rip your toes apart until they bleed. I never did it, but it was really bad. And the itch combined with the sensitivity just made it unbearable, and I had to go to the dermatologist and get some really strong steroids to help the inflammation, the swelling, and the itch I was experiencing. tomorrow I'm going to try to do this after my classes, so it's not going to be first thing in the morning. That is because it's going to be colder tomorrow than it is today, and I don't want to be in the water and then have to deal with how cold the air is. So, as I said, I think yesterday was, with the different methods that I can use similar to that, I'm going to try switching things up a little, see different times of day. I mean, again, you don't want to do this before bed because it's going to impact your ability to sleep, and it's absolutely amazing for waking you up. I went out last night to a restaurant with some of my friends, and I am like 90% positive that they put seed oils in their food, because I got 6 hours of sleep last night, which, if you know me, isn't great. I normally shoot for 9.5, 10 hours, but this morning I woke up and I was giving myself a million reasons why I shouldn't jump in the water, and one of them was just how insanely cold it is outside. But I decided, you gotta do it. No matter what you tell yourself with all these freaking excuses you're trying to come up with. I think I have a cold coming on, or I didn't get much sleep, I'm exhausted, I got a headache. You jump in the water, and all those excuses just go away, and you get brought into the moment, and it feels amazing. Then you put your head under, and that did feel really good, getting my head all the way down. But again, make sure to do it safely. I can't consider it safe. I'm not the role model for safety, I'll put it that way. Definitely not the smartest thing to hike 200 feet to a river, jump in it, and then hike back in 20-degree weather. So, yeah, but lessons for today. Get rid of those excuses that you tell yourself and those limiting beliefs, and just do it. Do a little bit of research to make sure you're not going to die, but once you know you're not going to die, jump in. And as far as I can see, at least for me, my research was I saw someone on YouTube do it, and I was like, she's not dead. That looks like something that could be beneficial in my life. So then the next morning, I just went out and did it. The longer you wait for good weather or whatever excuse you're currently telling yourself to actually go out and do something, whether or not it is ice plunges or something in your personal, professional life, the more difficult it's gonna be for you to even finish it. If you have an idea, you impulsive is not the right word. If you have an idea and you go right at it right away and you test it out, that's the best thing to do, as long as you know it's safe. And then you don't want to wind up like having an idea, writing it down, and then coming back to it like, I wonder if I should start my own business or something. And then you keep having that thought for like the next year, turns into 5 years, turns into 10 years, and it always just remains a thought. You want to have the idea and then act on it, and then once you act on it, you can then figure the rest of the stuff out. But the hardest thing is just getting the ball rolling. So this is day 5, and I will catch you on day 6.